G'day guys, kia ora, my name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment and subscribe, and yes, you are here today because the mighty All Blacks has just had their first outing of 2025 against the arch enemies, the French, at home in Dunedin, under the roof, in the greenhouse, nice little greenhouse gas chamber. And yeah, this was, to everybody's surprise, a really good performance by the French team. Almost putting out an upset against, the All Blacks with basically their C team due to restrictions to their selection from the top 14, resting periods to the top players. So they were not able to play anybody that has too many game time in top 14. In addition, they couldn't play people that had a lot of game time during the Six Nations as well. So a lot of these players, even the ones that are like Gao Fuku, despite being a big nen, they actually didn't play that much during the Six Nations, so that's why they're allowed to come to play. But despite that, this was just outstanding performance by the French. One thing I am starting to notice with the French team is the fact that they are really starting to understand the style and the edge that they are looking for from all of the players from the selection policies. The one thing that the French did really well in the Six Nations, exploiting the speed difference on their wings with Damien Penaud and Bielbieri. And they have continued with that thing with the selection policies here against the All Blacks, and they have identified that as the edge they wanted to pursue. The South Africans, they want to pursue the big bat scrum, bomb squad style. The French wants to pursue that fast, agile, kick behind style with their wingers and with their fullbacks. And again, despite what you might call this being the C team, from a selection point of view, the French had a faster pack. Some of you guys were telling me that Riku Ioane is the fastest person in the All Blacks team. That left me a little bit concerned after reading those comments, because he clearly isn't as fast as he was before. He might still be really fast. He clearly isn't as fast as he was before. And even tonight, he's either not trying or he's just not that fast, in my opinion. There was literally like a crossfield kick at one point of the game where he was just jogging to try to get the ball. He didn't even commit himself under the high ball. And as a result, a lot of the All Blacks high ball as well. There was not enough pressure. Whether it's just kicked too far or you can just either it's one of the two, right? Either your up and unders are just put a bit too far, or your wingers aren't fast enough to follow it through. So that's the problem. And the only guys can say, "Oh, Will Jordan's on the field. The All Black pack is not that slow." Will Jordan has a long-term leg injury. If you look at him, he has his right leg, I believe, heavily strapped every game. So Will Jordan's definitely not like tip-top fast at the moment. So the overall speed of the All Blacks pack, if Riku Ioane is the fastest out there, this might be the problem of the team. That Robertson needs to have to think about. The speed is just clearly not there, as shown tonight by the French team. The pressure was better under the high ball. The scrambling defense was better. The kick and chase was better. The accuracy was, like, you can tell the French team didn't have the accuracy, but just the ability, when they make a mistake, they can quickly cover their mistakes from their speed that is available for them on the field. And that is really, like, the whole game just looked like the French team is scrambling. Scramble defense, and yet the All Blacks could not get through. Same when they score their tries as well. It's just like they're scrambling to try to get themselves across the finish line, and they're just able to do so with that speed. And there's a lot of the little problems and issues are just basically mitigated by having a faster pack. Now that's my opinion. That's what I think was happening out there. That's why I think that despite this was a C team, the clear advantage of the French team was the speed, and that's why the All Blacks almost lost this game. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. That's what I think is a fundamental problem. Now, obviously, the All Blacks has a lot of new players coming through as well. Some, big debutants, and Fabian Holland, Christian Leowilli, just great, and what's his name? Karefi as well, debuting today. I think there was a proper debut as well. So there was a number of new players, new combinations out there. But overall, the French is definitely, if you're going to argue that for the problem of the All Blacks, definitely doesn't fly, because the French has even more players that are debuting, that are, first time playing with each other on the field tonight. So it's definitely not that. And I think that, again, it's just the strategy. The French had a clear idea how they wanted to play, They showed that in the Six Nations, and they carried on with the selection policy from the get-go, before they even came on tour, to select players that are faster, that are more agile, that are great at scramble defense, and that's what we saw tonight. And despite, you can clearly tell that there's the structure from the All Blacks attack was better. The players understood each other, what they want to do better, and the French, they were just, everybody was just kind of like rolling the dice every time and just hoping for the bounce. And because of the speed, they were able to get the bounce a lot of the times in those 50-50 plays. Now, there was in addition to that problem, I thought the All Blacks really didn't control the game the way they wanted to play. I thought the All Blacks played into the same scramble style I think the French did, which isn't to their advantage. I thought the All Blacks, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a strategy they also wanted to pursue, but it just looked like the All Blacks were frantic, unnecessarily frantic at times when they were under, when they're having the ball, when they're running their own attack, and it's almost like I'm not sure why that's the case, but it looks like they're scrambling a lot of time. I saw, despite clearly being a team that has a better idea of the structure, the style they wanted to play, and sometimes they just like boom, kick the ball away, and it's almost like, you kind of like, did you guys actually plan that? Did you mean to kick the ball away outside the 22 when there's a play, the bin, the yellow card? I really like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really like clear and obvious that they've thought some of the stuff through, and maybe because they got caught up in emotions. I don't know what it is, but it just looks like they were scrambling a little bit unnecessarily for the All Blacks, not controlling their own maybe emotions to some extent there. Outside of that, let's have a look at some of the controversies. Number one, this one, I don't watch rugby league, but I do watch some of the rugby league commentary about rugby league. I actually find that more entertaining than the actual game. And in rugby league, they talk about this, some similar instances. A player running a decoy and then runs into a defender like this. And then there was a big discussion as to whether, and there was literally tries being disallowed. Something like the player hardly, they was doing a screen run. The screen run hardly touched anybody. And then it was called back for a no try in rugby league. And, that was kind of like just basically the referees following the strict letter of the law. And you get this slow like transition from there's something being completely okay for, tens and maybe like 100 years, right? For like decades. And then to suddenly the referee start applying the law to the absolute letter of the law. And you have people that's just, very slightly in front of the player, bumps into somebody, and suddenly you have a try being disallowed. Something that's perfectly fine maybe 6 months ago. Again, I think that whilst this is the correct decision, this one here, the player definitely bumped a defender, obstructed his movement to potentially make a cover in line. But, it's like, you see this 100 times, a year, right? Like, in fact, you see this like 10 times, 50 times a game, maybe. It's sometimes the referee needs to have a bit more of like a common sense to just allow these things to go on, because realistically, this guy's not in a position to tackle Beauden Barrett. Even if Tossie didn't touch him at all, he's not gonna be making this cover and didn't cover this overlap at all from where he is. So it's absolutely a bit of a common sense should have been applied here. Whether or not this would have made a difference to stop this overlap, no, it would not have. They have a yellow card. That's why there's the overlap. And this has absolutely nothing to do with the what led to the ultimate try. So common sense I think should be followed here, and not go down the path of rugby league, starting to have this ridiculous disallowed tries because somebody stepped 1 foot in front of somebody else, didn't even touch them in a defensive line, and then suddenly it's like, obstruction. Second one. Now this one is actually a correct decision. So Billy Proctor did a really nice run, and he tried to dunk the ball over, went over to try. Looked like at full speed, it looked like a try. But if you slow it down, this is actually the correct decision. I talk about this a lot in my game for the opposite reason. And I think this is the perfect example. I've screenshotted this. The law says yes. So what was happening was Nick Berry actually made the wrong explanation on the field. He said the player needs to have possession of the ball, and he lost possession. He did not lose possession. He lost contact with the ball. There's a clear separation between him and I guess he lost position as well when he lost contact. But the right terminology is not that he's not possession, because sometimes, you know, the ball could be, you know, like, the ball could have rolled down your, the ball could have, rolled down your hand, and you can call that lost possession. But when you're going for a try, as long as the arm still maintains intact with the ball, it's still a try. You haven't lost. There's no clear separation. It's only when there's a clear separation, as you can see, a gap between the ball and the arm, for this try to be disallowed. And this try here, definitely there's a clear separation here. As you can see, you can clearly see the defender's tattooed on his arm behind the ball. I guess I actually can't. Oh, here it is. You can see my yeah, you can see clearly the little bit of tattoo on his arm, and you can see the little pixels on the scoreboard, on the advertising sport as well behind the ball. There's a clear separation between his arm and the ball. Not the fact that he's lost possession, so to speak. It's the fact that he actually lost contact with the ball before grounding it. So this is 100% the right decision by the referee, despite this being, a little bit tough at time, and a little bit tough call. And I think that, if you just put out a full speed, 99 out of 100, people wouldn't even think that this was not a try. So yeah, it is a bit tough there, but this is the right decision. But I don't think this one here, it needs to have some common sense. This guy is in no position to shut down Beauden Barrett from making this pass, or in a position to actually sweep across to make the tackle on the overlap, and this should not be a disallowed try as a result of that. With that being said, just some fashion problems. I love the All Blacks as much as every New Zealander do. 363 days a year. Everybody knows that. That's a fact. And then, I think the green shoes, looks really cool. And I do have some, my headphones and stuff. The green, the same lime green. I really like the color. But I just really want the All Blacks to just wear all black. It looks good. I think it looks good, but I just really wanted to wear the all black at some point again. At least it's not like pink shoes or something, which I really appreciate. It's not pink. And then another thing is, can someone explain to me, why did Cody Taylor walk out with his hairbrush at the start of the game? Yeah, I don't know. Is that supposed to be that Maori weapon thing that they have? But you look like a hairbrush to me. But anyway, still, that was a pretty cool Kaka performance. And yeah. So let's have a look at the match stats of the game. So Rugby Australia has completely given up on their website, looks like. There's no stats here. But luckily, I found some other place to find the stats. Rugby 365, I think this is South African, still has the stats of the game. So 2 tries to 1. If you look at the stats of the game, the All Blacks actually play really, really well. Everything was clinical. Everything was very clean on the stats. But they're just not, they're just not able to execute, not able to win the scramble defense. And they got drawn into that scramble style that led to a lot of the 50-50 opportunities going for the fronts. 1 penalty goal for the All Blacks. Again, I really appreciate the All Blacks not just kicking penalties. They knew they have to work on their set piece. They knew they need to build on some of the stuff, some of the cohesiveness of the new players, and they didn't just take 3 points and then having everybody standing around and not doing anything for the game. And I think that is a good sign that they are building towards the Rugby Championship for the eventual, inevitable head collision with the Springboks. So 4 tries to 3 for the All Blacks, 4 conversions. So yeah, Beauden Barrett's goal kicking was really, really good tonight. 184 carry for the All Blacks to the 94 for the French. And we got 11 line breaks of the All Blacks, only 3 for the French. So defensive-wise, the All Blacks was just outstanding tonight as well. 16 turnovers considered. This was probably one thing that the All Blacks wanted to look at. I thought that just, again, the scrambling, there's a lot of up and unders being just fumbled around. And I thought maybe the turnover was a little bit more urgency was from the French team. But overall, yeah, I thought not as bad as it looks like on the start, in my opinion. 6 turnovers conceded. Turnovers lost. Does that mean turnovers conceded? Anyway, these stats don't really make sense to me. How could you win 8 turnovers and then only lost? How could you how could the opposition lost 16 turnovers and the France only won 8? Did they lose 8 turnovers to the Wallabies tonight? I don't know what's going on with these stats. Someone maybe can explain this to me. How could the opposition only win 8 when you've lost 16? What happened to the other 8 that you've lost? Didn't make any sense to me. But anyway, territory-wise, the All Blacks play a bit more in the French 22. France play So yeah, in terms of possession, 31%, 45 mostly played inside the French half, and the French really tried to play the kicking a little bit, but really wasn't able to sustain as much pressure as the All Blacks did when they had the opportunities. So we've got 3 scrums to 8, even in terms of the scrum outcome. I was expecting the All Blacks scrum to be a little bit stronger, to be fair with you, but the French was able to cope quite well overall. The French tight head prop, not very good at tackling, but he did his job in terms of the scrums. 20 lineouts in play for the All Blacks, 20. No 100% lineouts for that. The French, 5 for them. 0 loss as well. Very much fewer. The French kicking game wasn't very accurate. There was a number of kicks that just kind of went out on the full outside of their own 22. And then, yeah, I guess Fabian Holland debuting 100% lineout will be a very, very happy start for him, his test career. We've got post-contact, 184 carries to the All Blacks, 402 post-contact meters to the French, 94 ball carries to 165 meters, 11 line breaks to the All Blacks, to the French only 3. Again, so now it's... Anyway, let's I don't know what's going on there. So this is something that I think Razor Robertson will be really happy about, the discipline of the All Blacks. 3 overall for the All Blacks for the entire game. 9 for the French. There was 1 yellow card for a deliberate knock on by Villiers. Just slapped the ball down. I thought it was definitely a yellow card, to be really frank with you. They're very deliberate there. 21 tackles made for the All Blacks, 8 missed tackles, 224 tackles made for the French, 27 missed tackles. Like percentage-wise, still just a bit under 10%, but the amount of tackles they had to make, just over a bit over 10% actually, but the amount of tackles the French has to make, just incredible, just incredible fitness by the team, by the team, incredible scrambling abilities. The All Blacks only 8 missed tackles out of 121, single-digit missed tackle percentage count. Total kicks, 29 for the All Blacks, 33 for the French. There's no kick meters here, so yeah. Anyway, so with that being said, let's have a quick recap of the scoring. Let's see, do we have a scoring here? Anyway, what else do we have here? More dominant tackles for the All Blacks. Faster ruck speed. And yeah. So let's just recap on the tries. I'm trying to find a page where you can see all the tries being scored, maybe. Yeah, okay, anyway, we'll just go with that. So yes, so the game kind of started off with Savour Reece got sent off immediately from a head, like he smacked himself on the head, and you know he got a HRA, off he goes. 7 minutes into the game, the French actually got the first penalty 50 meters out, and Villiers was the one that got the winger that got the turnover. They kicked the 50 meters, 3 points to nil to the French. 17 minutes in the game, Billy Proctor got burned out wide by the French winger. Again, just speed difference. And then the French winger went through lots of pick and go, crash balls, and the French scores their first try. Gillard pick and go for the try, 10 points to nil for the French. 20 minutes into the game, right from the kickoff, in fact, Scotty Barrett charged the box kick down, and then the All Blacks got themselves right in the front foot in front of the goal line. Lots of pressure against the try line. Eventually, the ball went wide from Bodie Barrett to Will Jordan, went in for the try. 10 points to 7. The All Blacks come back into the game. 26 minutes of the game, the All Blacks was not happy to kick 3 points. They went for the penalty, went for the line out. And then D-Mac, dancing feet, he cuts through a bunch of defenders. Quick crash ball from Tupavai eventually went over for the try. 14 points to 10 for the All Blacks. 32 minutes of the game, there was not a penalty for the French. 40 minutes out from the close to the sideline. They kicked this one, 14 points to 13. Just before halftime, again, the All Blacks not kicking for 3. Lots of pressure piled on. And there was probably about maybe 10, 15 phases maybe. Eventually the ball went out to Beauden Barrett. Went like nice little tip pass, almost like a basketball pass over the top to Will Jordan, and who also quickly flung the ball wide to what's his name? To Jordie Barrett, this was a pretty low pass. Almost went to the ground, and Jordie Barrett scooped out the ball from the deck and went over for the try. 21 points to 13, halftime score. Second half, immediately coming out of the gate, there was knock on for the All Blacks. There was scrum for the French on the 22-meter mark, and then they just build 15 phases later. There was nice, they went left and right, and there was a flat pass to Villiers, who ran a nice angle, cuts through the defensive line. 21 points to 20. The French get themselves back, just 1 point behind. 47 minutes into the game, the French under pressure once again. There was a poor clearance kick from the French team, so the All Blacks had about like a 10-meter line out, attacking line out. The ball went out again. Beauden Barrett got the ball. Will Jordan behind him was almost like a backdoor play, and Will Jordan just ran nice straight through. Did not pass to the players around him. Just went straight through. I guess the 10 channel, and for the try, 28 points to 20. And then 55 minutes, deliberate knock on by Villiers, sent off a yellow card. 57 minutes of the game, there was a this was the try that was disallowed by Billy Proctor. Pick and go, dunk the ball, separation. 63 minutes, a few minutes later, the All Blacks found another try into the corner with Will Jordan, where he was reverted to the stupid obstruction, and then the score remained just 1 point behind going into the final 10 minutes. With about 8 minutes left on the clock, there was a penalty to the All Blacks, up finally just outside of the 22-ish, and then Adi Savea called for the 3 points. You're looking at the team actually wanted to go for the line out, but Adi Savea kind of made the pragmatic decision to go for the line, to go for the 3 points, and they kicked this one 31 points. Beauden kicked this one 31 points to 27, and then the French came back, more scrambling, wasn't able to get any more points to finish the game, but really close. If there was one defensive error at the end there, the French speed could have once again exploited the All Blacks and potentially won the match. But hey, a win is a win. The All Blacks, just like last year, look a little bit shaky the first game of the season, and a couple of unlucky disallowed tries. But let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later for the Lions game and the Springbok game. Cheers.